ascending and descending dimensions, conduit of spiritual ascension. The first dimension comprehended as waves or photon, which when mirrored diffracts into the atomic and subatomic field or quantum field. The first dimension, photon, as a wave, turns into tens of thousands of electrons from one photonic wave through proto-emission. When this occurs, mind, which exists outside of time-space, anchors an archetype into the quantum fabric of the subatomic field. The ego is birthed. Now, what the ego actually is, when it's at 100% development, is willpower. And biological life starts to take form in the third dimension, which is waves and particles coalescing, synergizing, and creating compound units of biological life. When the ego is fully developed in the third dimension, the willpower is 100% developed. You can control all the dimensions below you, but you cannot control the dimensions above you. Heaven can control earth, but earth cannot control heaven. As your willpower develops, you gain leverage over the dimensions that are below. So when the ego is at 100% capacity and the willpower is entirely conductive, you can control the electromagnetic energy of the subatomic field through the ego. When this is achieved, the idea is to utilize the ego to conduct electrical impulses up into the brain, up into the pineal gland, down back in through the heart. As these electrical impulses or electrons are willfully directed, usually from the base of the spine, which is where the primal mitosis of your DNA takes place, which is the primordial genesis of biological life. When the proto-emission of the primordial mitosis is controlled by the ego, one is able to channel the electrical discharges up the spine, up the 33 vertebrae of the spine into the pineal gland. This creates an electromagnetic field within the pineal gland. It connects the pineal gland to the pituitary gland. These electrical impulses, when focused on ascendancy up the spine toward the geometric center of the brain and the geometric center of the forehead, creates an electrostatic. This electrostatic charges the liquid in around the master retina or pineal gland and creates an enlarged electromagnetic field. Now, the more that you do this, the more your psychic abilities come online, and you actually start to transmute sexual energy into spiritual energy. In so doing, you birth what is known as a solar body. When the solar body is birthed, you have eyes that have access to another dimension. In the same way that the primordial mitosis of your DNA generated the biological anatomical structure of your material vessel, so does the electromagnetic charges that you have conducted up into the pineal gland birth a solar body. This solar body has access to a different dimension. Therefore, your consciousness has a body to conduct itself within a higher field. In this higher field, the valency is lower. The valency being lower means that the energetic functions of that field are a lot more malleable as well. So a lower valency means that the subatomic particles are further away from each other. The closer subatomic particles are to one another, the denser they are, the more valency they have. When the astral field and the astral plane is connected to, this new body comes online and you gain access to the astral field, which is then the fourth dimension. As you practice in the fourth dimension, you will notice things like spirit guides, fragmented aspects of self, and other phenomena. The truth is that your spirit guides and fragmented aspects of self are actually exactly the same. You see, consciousness or spirit descends, and as it descends, it hits the mirror of the first and second dimension, where polarity is, and then energy starts to ascend again. We're looking at a consistent feedback of above to below, and then below is being pulled above. When spirit descends down through the fourth dimension, it's refracted or diffused. And what occurs is consciousness splits off into different aspects that seek to guide the lower biological life forms. These are known as spirit guides. Now, as these spirit guides are integrated, which occurs through shadow work, new powers, astral abilities, telekinesis, and other beautiful spiritual phenomena is experienced. Working through your shadow and integrating your spirit guides, you develop new powers. Once all the spirit guides of the fourth dimension are recognized, assimilated, and fully embodied, what occurs is a unison or a harmonic unified consciousness template, which rebirths the solar body into what could be known as the holographic double. So you go into holographic rebirth through the integration of fragmented aspects of self by recognizing your spirit guides as you and integrating them through shadow work. Leveraging the abilities of the higher aspects of the self, you step into holographic rebirth. During deep meditation, when you are pulling these electrical currents via the will of your ego up into the pineal gland and the master retina, your DNA actually starts to change. The nucleotide-based genetic sequences of protein synthesis within the DNA go through a transfiguration and turn into light assimilation modules, and you become a self-organizing, self-sustained entity in its own right. For this to occur, you need to be generating light within the pineal gland, the method of which has just been explained. As the electrical currents of the primordial mitosis are harnessed and ascended, the flesh goes through an electrification. So your body starts to become electrical. And the dendrites in your DNA start to generate an electrostatic, which connects different strands of DNA together, higher with lower, etc., etc. Then what occurs after the full electrification of flesh, when all aspects and fragments or spirit guides have been integrated, a crystallization begins to occur during holographic rebirth. This occurs in the master retina, pineal glands, and in the heart chakra. This crystallization allows the body to become hyperconductive, able to activate scalar fields, able to activate vectors, able to control electromagnetic fields, and all of the phenomena of the fourth dimension. What occurs after the crystallization? The process continues. Humans are ascending into pure plasma through transfiguration. The very basis or fundamental premise at the elementary level I have just explained. Now the process itself, moving into the next field, a sixth-dimensional paradisian energy. So where the third eye and the heart chakra connect together and become one unit. The paradisian energy is again, associated with willpower. However, this is what we could call cosmic will. This is where telekinesis actually becomes even more profound. This is how beings were able to levitate those big rocks of the pyramids and create the pyramids. Indigos are functioning in paradisian energy at this time, but they're not 100% activated. Even if they have access to the 7th and 8th dimensions, there are still certain codes within lower DNA strands that haven't reached full capacity. You see, the human prototype has become quite fragmented, and many different layers of DNA have been tampered with. We used to not have to sleep because our astral body was completely online all the time. But what occurs now is that when the 4th strand of DNA is fully activated, you don't actually sleep, but you don't, like your physical body does, but your astral body just turns online straight away, automatically. So your consciousness doesn't get rest. Your physical body does. However, there was a time where the physical body didn't need to rest because it would be generating energy through astral synthesis. This will occur again, eventually, before the great transition into the plasma state. For this to occur, however, higher strands of DNA need to be activated, and the codons and substrands all need to come online as well.